Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I declare this meeting open at 7:03. Welcome to the councillors, members of the public and staff and present in person, joining us online, watching via YouTube this evening. Members of the public that have registered to speak by audio visual on the agenda item are asked to keep their microphone muted and video off until I invite you to speak. Speakers will not be able to present material as part of their speaking time or share their screen. Councillors and those present in the chamber are reminded to conduct themselves in a polite and professional manner, keep communication factual, use appropriate language and tone. Council and the committee meetings are live streamed and recorded via YouTube. Please therefore treat everybody with dignity and respect and don't use any defamatory or derogatory remarks. Defamation laws apply to addressees in the public forum. Councillors are reminded of their obligations to conduct themselves in a professional and respected manner under the obligations of the Code of Meeting Practices in the interest of good governance and to adhere to meeting equity, including debate on an item which commence only once we have a mover and a seconder for the item other than the Merrill minute. The mover has the right of reply before the motion is put to a vote. Raise your hand to indicate you wish to speak, as I will determine the speaking order based on the hands as I see them. On commencement of you speaking on a motion or amendment, please indicate clearly whether you are speaking for or against the motion or amendment. Please ensure you address the chair rather than other councillors, staff or members of the public. Please respect the councillor's right to respect on a matter without interruption. For the efficient conduct of the meeting, it is not necessary for you to repeat these matters you agree with and raised by any previous speaker. It is sufficient for you to say that you agree with the points raised. I remind all present that the YouTube recording is an official record of council and may be made available to persons upon request in accordance with the Government Information Public Act 2009. No other recordings are permitted and are present would ensure that there is no video recordings, audio recordings or photographs taken. In case of emergency, please follow the instructions of council staff, exit via the town hall foyer and proceed the excavation area. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to the elders past and present and emerging. The people of the Eora Nation, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and in the land of Mother Earth. Councillors, I would like to ask the Reverend Father Nedelsky from the Macedonian Orthodox Church of St. Pekka to open prayer. Please stand.
O Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, of the eternal Father, you proclaimed, without me you can accomplish nothing. With unwavering faith, we wholeheartedly accept your words, O Lord, and humbly submit to your goodness. Graciously assist us in fulfilling the task we are about to commence, for the glorification of your name, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. You, O Christ, are yourself the fulfillment of all good things. Fill our souls and our hearts with joy and gladness, and save us, for you are all merciful and lover of mankind. To you we send up all glory, to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you for attention. Thank you for invitation, dear Mayor, dear councillors, and I wish you fruitful work and all blessings from God. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Councillors, we don't have any condolences. If anyone has any. Okay, councillors, we have a number of presentations tonight. First, I'd like to welcome Lorraine Mackenzie, who is the wife of the late Bruce Mackenzie, a renowned architect, and Bruce's colleague, fellow architect Tanya Wood. Born in 1932, Bruce helped establish the Australian Institute of Landscaping Architects and the Sydney Bush School of Landscaping Design, and also led a lifetime of professional contributions to writing, teaching, and mentorship. Bruce was an architect who has left behind a legacy of award-winning projects that included West Head of Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park, Delora Reserve in Balmain, Yurrumbully Park in Bircham Grove, and a very special owned Sir Joseph Banks Park in Botany. Bruce always considered Sir Joseph Banks Park to be his greatest achievement, a project that adequately showcased the consistent focus of respecting the site and the context, and also promoting the preservation of Indigenous landscaping. Lorraine and Tanya are here tonight to donate a book of Bruce's internationally acclaimed book, Design with Landscaping. On behalf of my fellow councillors, I'd like to thank them for the generous donation. Bruce's book will be featured in our Rockdale Library and be a valuable resource for our community, and I'm sure it will help to enrich the minds of our future architects. Now I'd like to welcome Lorraine and Tanya. Please come up. Oh, sorry. I'd like to invite the other councillors to please come up. The next certificate of recognition, ladies and gentlemen and councillors, is Miss Linda Craig. Linda has been a long-term Botany resident, has been a Justice of the Peace for 24 years. She has volunteered out her services to East Gardens Library for 10 years. And during this time, she supported 1,000 residents with their requests. Often people use JP services at a library are anxious and frustrated. Through Linda's compassionate and empathetic approach, she is able to make them feel heard and calm. On behalf of all my councillors, I'd like to thank Linda for her dedication and commitment to Bayside community, and to inspire others for their willingness to take up their time. And we are very grateful, Linda, for your effort and community spirit. I'll just ask the General Manager to read out some other certificates that we're going to have tonight.
Thank you, through the Mayor. We have 4 certificates to be presented to some incredible young people who've excelled in their passion and have been chosen to represent Australia. Firstly, congratulations to Carolyn Wang, who recently represented Australia in the 17th International Earth Science Olympiad competition in China. Also, congratulations to Talia Dunn, who recently represented Australia in the Senior Women's Freestyle Solo at the 2024 IBTF World Freestyle and Rhythmic Twirl Championship held in Helsingborg in Sweden. Congratulations to Sienna de Bonis, who will be playing in the Under-14 Junior Premier League team at the Basketball New South Wales Spalding Waratah Junior League in Victoria. And finally, congratulations to Arveer Patil Chowdhury, who will be representing Australia in the Eastern Seaboard Regatta in October in Thailand. For the 4 of you, your performance and dedication showcases not only your individual talents, but also the spirit of Australian sportsmanship, hard work, perseverance and determination. On behalf of Council, congratulations. The Bayside community is very proud of what you have achieved. Please come up and be presented with your certificates. Ricky, come up. There's 4 of them. If any councillors would like to come up for a photo? We also have a certificate tonight for Mr. Raja Aslam. Raja is committed to enhancing our community through his ongoing work and tireless efforts in promoting Bayside. His work has brought people together, fostering a sense of unity and belonging that is invaluable. His work to promote our area, ensuring that Bayside is not only recognised for its beauty, but also for the strong, vibrant and caring community that we all know it is. On behalf of Bayside Council, we thank Raja for his ongoing commitment to our community and ask him to come forward and receive his award. Make a bit of space. Yeah. Our next certificate tonight is being presented to Football St George. Football St George celebrated their centenary at an event held on Saturday, the 3rd of August this year at the Novotel in Brighton Le Sands. This was a momentous occasion and reflected on the club's long history, acknowledging the legacy of past members and recognising the contributions of the club's life members, volunteers and staff. It also served as a commemoration of its community spirit, comradeship and joy that football brings to us all. Council wishes the club and its members all the continued success for the future, and I know that the club will continue to forge a path for generations to come. Please welcome Irene, Chair of the Football St George, to receive certificate on behalf of the club. Thanks, Irene. One more. And finally, Bayside Council hosted the ALGWA, the Australian Local Government Women's Association New South Wales Branch Committee meeting on Saturday the 20th of July here in Rockdale. Councillor Werner has a certificate of appreciation that she would like to present to Council. Would you like to come forward and do the presentation?
Yes, thank you. Just a few words. Just wanted to say that the work of the Australian Local Government Women's Association is a wonderful resource for women councillors and women staff as well. And our last conference in Ryde was, you know, there are hundreds of women councillors who came along to that. And I want to also thank my fellow councillors for coming along to that. And before that, the conference that we had was about disaster resilience, and that was in regional New South Wales. So that was a wonderful resource, and we learned a lot of that as well. So really appreciate Bayside Council's support, and yeah, thank you very much.
Next item is, we don't have apologies, everyone's here. Next item is disclosure of interest. We'll go around the table. Councillor Curry. Councillor Morrissey, Councillor Muscat, Councillor Fardell, Councillor Jansen, Councillor Nargi.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On 11.3, CPE, should have got my glasses with me. 24.31, on the conflict of interest on the basis that I sit on the Eastern panel, and I won't be voting on this matter. So if we can pull that out, thank you.
No problems. Councillor Sturnis? No. Councillor Warner? Councillor Wada?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 11.3 CP 24031, declare that I'm a conflict of duty arising that on the basis that I'm a delegate on the Sydney Eastern City panel, and I will be leaving the chamber and not voting on this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Barlow? Councillor Hannah? No. Councillor Douglas? Councillor McDougall?
Mr. Mayor, similar item. I'm no longer a member of the planning panel, but I was previously, and we previously considered items relating to the Page River Green development. So I'll be declaring a conflict of duties.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Chidrak, and I don't have any items to declare. Our next item is minutes of the previous meeting held on the 24th of July. If I can have someone move. Councillor Nargi, seconded by Councillor Sturnis. I'll put it. All in favour, say aye. Those against, no. Declare it carried. Next item is end of term speech. Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an incredible honour to serve as mayor. As you all know, I'm stepping down. I'll not be running next month's local government elections. I was first elected to Rockdale Council in 1983 when I was only 21 years old, and I promised to make a difference, and I believe I have. It's been a tremendous experience and a privilege to serve the local community, particularly the people of Ward 3, for the past 41 years. I'd like to first of all thank my family who have been behind me the whole way, and the personal attacks towards me and my family over the past 41 years. Without my family, I would not have been able to carry on in the position of a councillor and also the mayor. I'd like to acknowledge, I know they passed away, my late father and my late mother, for the encouragement and the support they gave me at 21 years old to run for council to try and make a difference. I'd like to also acknowledge my dear friend, the Honourable Shaukat Moussamani, for his tremendous support. When we started running for council, he was one of the first ones that was letterboxing, putting signs up for the area. His own family, back in 1994, were more happy for me to be elected as mayor than Shaukat being elected as a councillor. There's things that you will never forget. I want to thank the many state and federal members of parliament, but I need to acknowledge and thank the Premier, Mr. Chris Minns, my dear friend and brother, Steve Camper, the member for Rockdale, and the Honourable Ron Honey for the tremendous support. Councillors, I've given it a lot of thought, and over the last 40 years, I've seen so many councillors, I think in total, 140 councillors. I want to thank the Deputy Mayor Joe Wada. I want to thank the staff, particularly the current General Manager and the previous General Managers, and all the directors. I want to thank Corey and Hannah in the mayoral office. They've done a tremendous job. Councillors, the members of the public, words can't describe how efficient and professional these two staff members are. And Lorraine in our media department. I've also got to thank Fausto. He's here, his day off. For over the years, the guidance and wisdom he has passed on. I also need to and I apologise that I'm not acknowledging all the councillors, but I just need to publicly thank them. Councillor Barlow, thank you for the support and dedication that you've given to our community, and we've worked for, 20 odd years plus, 28 years. I want to thank Councillor Naji. Thank you for your support over that, I think, the 28 years. But I also want to thank all the councillors here for the tremendous support, not only for myself, but to the community. Over the past 3 years, we've seen so many projects that we've been able to deliver. And I think our community appreciates that. Next month, we'll have the green bins at the end of the month. That is a major tick for our community. The last 12 months, and I want to thank the former Mayor, Councillor Christina Curry, the Business Awards. We brought that back. It's important to acknowledge our business community. They are the life of our community in terms of employment opportunities. Thank you. We need to Councillor Jansen for her commitment to public art and murals across our local government area. I believe that we have engaged in communicating with our residents to make Bayside a better place to live. We've had so many upgrades of sporting facilities and parks. St Joseph Banks Park, the tremendous development at Barton Park. That is something that we as a council have delivered to our community. And I know walking around the area, there's been so many positive comments. There's something that I've got to acknowledge Councillor Curry, the wonderful Remembrance Garden created in Much Park. And that's, we host on an annual domestic violence vigil. This is something that we have been on the front foot. It is sad, it's shocking to read almost every day the domestic violence. And there's something that we, as a community, as a council, have been on the front foot. And we've worked well with the local police, but there's more work to be done in relation to this such a major issue in our community. And I'm just making some notes in terms of some of the things that happened in Chapel Night concepts for the heritage listed St Magdal's Chapel. Thank you, Councillor Fardell. The Carl Park Cafe. There's been so many projects, councillors, that we've achieved in the last 3 years. I want to thank Councillor Hannah in relation to Pertonks. I've never heard of that before until Councillor Hannah raised it, and I think Councillor Barlow placed it. We've worked well with the St George Historical Society in relation to Linden Hall being reopened. One of the major achievements that we've also done this year, there's so many of them, is the fact that we took back Angela Nasser's swimming pool and brought it back to the community. That's something I want to thank the staff and the directors for their continual support for it. The Bay Street trial, the closest trial, that's been a success. In terms of anti-hooning, we've been the leaders in terms of CCTV cameras, and we've been working well with the local member for antisocial behaviour. We brought back Carols by the Sea. That was an unbelievable experience that night. We recently had the Muddy Creek Master Plan. Again, that's going to be one of the highlights of the down that area, where we're going to give back the community public space. As I said before, councillors, we've achieved a lot. And that's, I don't want to put it here, it has been my honour to serve the people of Ward 3. And I just want to offer, while I think get him off also, I need to also pay tribute. Back in 1981, I had two gentlemen come and see me at my home, and that was Gary Punch, the member for Barton, and Dennis Doyle. Now those maybe, I'll just give you, Gary Punch was the local member. He was also the mayor of Hurstville Council, I think at 21 or 22. And Dennis Doyle was a family friend, and they came and saw me to convince me to join the Labor Party. And I looked at my dad, and I knew what my dad would say. He said yes. And then they came and saw me and said, "We want you to run for council." What? Run for council? And I didn't know what I was going to get into. I didn't have a suit. I actually had long hair. And when we had the first campaign launched, they said, "You need to get a haircut, you need to buy a suit, and you need to grow a moustache." And I said, "Why?" They said, "You look too young to run for council." And later on tonight, I will give you, I'll tell you the reasons why I ran for council was in 1982, my late brother's best friend got killed in the intersection of Fast Street and Bessick Street. And around that time, I was starting to get active in the Australian Labor Party. And I thought, bugger this, I'm going to get involved with council. It took me 2 years, councillors and the members of the public, 2 years to fix up that road. It's an S-bed. And I had a huge battle with the system. So what I did was, and I remember the late Ron Rathbone was in the chair, and I kept raising it on the traffic committee, always hit brick walls. So I was successful one night. It was late towards a late night meeting. So I moved that we have an on-site meeting. So I caused a bit of mischief. So I letterboxed the area and said, "Hi, neighbours," because I'm a neighbour. "We're going to have an on-site meeting. Feel free to tell you to speak your mind." And sure enough, the residents turned up and told the councillors what they thought. It took us 2 years to fix the road. And that's something that's what sparked me to go to local government. I'll still be active in terms of our community because I live in Bayside. And I love this area. I love it. I brought up 2 beautiful children. And I guess I'll quickly find out what's on television on Wednesday nights because for the last 41 years, I've only seen maybe a month's Wednesday nights. So I just wanted to say I'm very humble and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen and councillors. We'll deal now with the items of exception. Thank you. We have 2 items, which is 10.3, because we have 2 speakers on the public forum. Yeah, and the plan agreement, which is 11.3 CPE 24.031. All right. Councillor Curry, do you have anything? Any items you want to pull out? Councillor Morrison, Councillor Muscat, Councillor Fidel, Councillor Jansen, Councillor Nagy, Councillor Warner, Councillor Wada, Councillor Barlow, Councillor Hannah, Councillor Douglas, Councillor McDougall, Councillor Cedric, and I have nothing. So with the exception of the 2 items, if I can have someone move that the others be adopted. All right, Councillor Morrissey, seconded by Councillor Muscat. I'll put it all in favour, say aye. Those against, no. Declare it carried. Looks like we'll have a quick meeting. Okay, the first item we've got is 10.3. Update trial of New South Wales rugby games. Spectators and David Phillips Field, Daceyville. We have Mr. Nathan Brown. Will you please come up? Oh, you're online.
Yes, I'm online. Thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great, fantastic. Thank you. Look, good evening, Mayor and councillors, and look, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. Just for context, my name's Nathan Brown. I'm a lifelong resident of Bayside. I'm a fourth generation member of the Pagewood and Botany community. I serve as the Vice President of the Daceyville Public School. I'm a Treasurer of the Friends of Astrolabe Park, and I'm a proud parent of students at both Hertford College and Daceyville Public, directly next to the fields in question. Additionally, I'm also a member of the Botany Historical Trust, and look, all of these roles and affiliations will be directly impacted by this development. Firstly, I'd like to thank the councillors that raised concern regarding the draft report at the last meeting of the City Planning and Environment Committee, Councillor Curry and Councillor Jansen as chair, and also Councillor Morrissey at the last council meeting. This continues to be of great concern to the community. I also attended the local community engagement event organised by Bayside Council for the 22nd of August at East Gardens Library, and I thank you for making the council staff available to hear our concerns. But tonight I'm here to express our continued disappointment and concern regarding the officer's recommendation on the trial period of New South Wales rugby games at David Phillips Field and the expectation of residents to now monitor this trial themselves. Look, unfortunately, the horse has bolted on being able to force Rugby New South Wales to own any additional or acceptable outcomes. So the agreement has been made. Quite frankly, I feel that council representatives at the negotiation could have and should have done a bit more for residents, and for council staff to say to residents at the engagement session at the library that, well, it could have been a lot worse, I think is unacceptable. Council's failure to negotiate a suitable outcome for residents at the Land and Environment Court conciliation table, despite gaining a seat to negotiate through the repeated efforts of residents and 2 local planning panels voting against, is a significant letdown. Now the onus and accountability should not fall on the residents. I think instead council should take full responsibility for policing the trial period and ensuring that complaints are addressed promptly. Talking to the report, I therefore ask for the following to be added to the report. Number 1, that local residents and stakeholders such as the nursing home, schools, church will be notified in writing by council or rugby in advance of game days, with each notification to include all contact details for complaints. Second point, the council will provide an after-hours mobile number for residents and local stakeholders to lodge complaints, including time-stamped images and video. Third point, and this is additional wording to an existing point, if an extension is sought after the trial, the local community and stakeholders will be asked to recount its experience during the trial in regards to impacts such as noise, traffic, parking, and antisocial behaviour, and this will be taken into consideration as part of the assessment. Fourth point, that an assessment be made to the authorisation and availability of the current shipping container bar on the other field in relation to the service of alcohol. And the last point, that an independent assessment be made by an acoustic specialist prior to the first public game to make sure that the limiter proposed to be installed on the public address system and the Flexi Shield barriers along the northern section of the site have been installed. Outside of that, and this DA, I would also like council to work with UNSW to develop a plan of management for the entire site and all the fields, with the aim to ensure that no other significant events are permitted to be played at David Phillips Field on Rugby New South Wales Games days. Look, given that the traffic and the parking reports just for the Rugby New South Wales Games alone took it to the maximum apparently acceptable level, if any other events take place at the same time, this would result in an intolerable intensification of noise, traffic and parking issues for residents. Thank you.
Miss Monique Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor and councillors, for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Monique Reynolds. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Southern Cross Care, New South Wales and ACT. The reason I'm here tonight is on behalf of our residents who are at the nursing home across the road from the rugby clinic. So I'm here on behalf of the residents, their families, and I'm also here on the behalf of our care workforce. So I'll start with the residents first. We have 58 residents at the nursing home across the road, and they call Bayside their home. Majority of those residents have lived in your community for a long time. A lot of the residents are in the age of around 80 to 90 years of age, and they are frail. They're all stages of in the aging process. A lot of the residents there are living with dementia, and there are also a number who are palliating. So the environment is really, really important. I think the feedback I can give you, as you have also shared, Mayor, they're very proud residents of, sorry, my dog. They're very proud residents of Daceyville. And I suppose the environment's important because, it's important as they age and during their aging process that it's peaceful and calm and safe for them. The other side of it is also for their families. So their families need that time with them. So making sure they have access to the home is really important. The other part of it is also our care staff. So we probably have around 60 odd care staff. It's a 24/7 nursing home. And it's important that our care staff can park on the street. There is no other parking. The other piece is around access. So from time to time, we may need an ambulance in there. So I suppose I just wanted to give you a bit of context around having a nursing home in a very sleepy place like Daceyville, but they're residents who want to be in their community. So I suppose the concerns I have on their behalf, as Nathan has just previously shared, they're not very digitally savvy. They won't know how to express their concern or complaints. So we will need to be able to support them on their behalf. So what I'm asking you, Mayor and councillors, to consider is, and I know this trial is progressing, and I did also attend the 22nd of August engagement session. I did thank you for that opportunity. What I would like to also ask, as well as Nathan has also asked, is some advance warning. That enables us to plan, to let the residents and their families know, to think also about our staffing of our care staff, to get them in, and also to think if we are going to have surprises where we're going to have too many people parking in that area, if for whatever reason we may need to get ambulance in, how that's going to occur. So we do need some advance warning, please. The other piece is around dedicated number for after hours. We're 24/7. We've got registered nurses on shift. So we need to know if something does occur, who to call. The other thing I'd like to add to, which is, and I do like the idea of this independent assessment around noise, but I'd like to also add some level of transparency around the monthly reporting, just to get a bit of a sense as to the feedback you're receiving, and some level of thinking around monitoring the parking during those game times. So that's what I would like to ask the Mayor and the councillors to consider on behalf of your residents who've lived their life in Daceyville, and I think do deserve some level of quiet time. Even though they do love rugby, it is really important that they also be considered as they age in their community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
Councillor
Mr. Mayor.
Curry.
I'd like to move the recommendation, and I'd like to move it with an amendment.
Yep, go on,
please.
second, Councillor Morrissey.
So first of all, can I start by thanking the speakers for speaking tonight and sharing the impacts that this is having on our local community. I'd also like to acknowledge that this has gone through council iterations a few times and appreciate the support of councillors as we work through and try to ensure our residents are considered in the actions that are put forward, and that compliance is undertaken that supports our residents and the impacts that these games are going to cause on them. So I'd like to put forward an amendment. I've sent that through to governance. So the amendments takes into consideration the proposed monitoring activities with adding some of those additional there, such as that the residents and stakeholders receive notification prior to each game, that council provides an after hours mobile number, because I can't tell you, we hear the speakers now, they are so loud, they are going across a number of streets. It's and the cars coming and going very late into the night as well. And that there's some additional wording down the bottom to incorporate stakeholders, parking and antisocial behaviour. And I will, having read the report, I just want to add in there as well is around to assess the shopping container bar, because it was quite clear in what came back in the last thing that there is not to be a bar there. There is not to be alcohol served on games. So why is there a shipping container bar there? So if we can have the assessment of the bar, please, and then also when the games take place around the acoustic assessment as well. And so they're the first, if we can put those amendments in. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other speakers?
Make a comment. I'm a bit concerned. I feel that if the nursing home has a problem with ambulance coming to the nursing home, a lot of nursing home goes to traffic committee and they can look at it, because I think it's Homewood, they have it on the street because they don't have on-street parking. So that could be looked at and referred to the traffic committee, because it needs to be looked at. So then they can have that data. I don't know the nursing home. So I'm just saying that it should be referred to the traffic committee. And the other issue is the antisocial behaviour, but the games finish at 5 o'clock. So I don't know, and they have to be finished at 6 p.m. according to this report I've written. So I think there's issues there, but I'm more concerned about the ambulance, and I think that needs to be addressed. And also, the after hours number is a 1300 number, and I think you might push 1 if it's, and I've used that number. So there is an after hours number for the council. Could I be clarified that there is one, that there isn't? Yeah, there is one, and you push the button, and then you speak to someone. They say, "Is it an emergency?" And then then they ring the rangers. So there is, or maybe you can ring a councillor, and they can take it up for you.
In relation to the ambulance, that goes to traffic committee just to look at that situation. And just sorry, the bottom one is that an acoustic assessment takes place prior to the first game.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just going off topic a little bit, your entry with the drum, very hard to beat. Thank you. This is just a typo, I think, that you might want to amend before this gets too much further. Page 2, and as you know, I'm big on bullet points. Bullet point 5, it says kick off not before 8:30 p.m. I'm sure that's going to make the residents very happy. So I'm assuming that needs to be amended to AM, if that can happen, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I read the written correspondence as well on this topic from residents, and in relation to the after hours number, I just had a question, because I feel that maybe the residents were seeking something that was a bit more dedicated and responsive. So with the current council 1300 number, how responsive is that if residents have a issue or concern.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that number is staffed 24 hours a day, so it's a call centre operation that upon receiving a call, it sends an email to our call centre that is attended to as soon as it opens the next day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the committee meeting, we talked about this, and it was almost the fox looking after the hen house under the current arrangements. Well, that's how I see it. Alcohol was not supposed to be included in the mix. Now alcohol is coming from another park, going across to the park. We've got ranges that, to me, I'm looking up there, and they don't have a set parameter to deal with. We've all experienced, all us councillors experience, where we've requested rangers to go out and do specific tasks, look at illegally parked vehicles or whatever. They take so long to get there. If we have two rangers that are dedicated and have specific tasks to look after in this particular scenario, for instance, one of the items is they can't have more than 400 people, including players, officials and so on the ground at the time. How do we monitor that? We need to monitor that. They will tell us, well, we've got whatever. We need to monitor that, and that has to be a consistent, a known number throughout the day, because they might start off with 200 and then have 600 at the end of the day or near closing time. So we need to be on top of that. We need to be on top of the noise mitigation, that it doesn't exceed a certain number. How do they measure it? How do they know? They'll turn up there. It might not be playing when they turn up there. We've had this scenario before where rangers have gone out to look at barking dogs, and the dog's not barking when they go there. As soon as the ranger leaves, it starts barking. So it's a similar thing. We don't need the neighbours to be antagonised by simple things that we can fix. And I believe the 1300 number is there, but it's not very effective. I think possibly the number of the rangers that will be out there, if they're obviously on a shift, 8 hours, the Director of City Life can confirm that either way. They're there for doing their tasks through the day. They can visit this place more than once, and if need be, they could be on the phone and be able to come around and sort out any issues that are raised by any groups that have issues, especially traffic matters, noise complaints, and overpopulation, overuse of the park, which to me will be a problem. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Curry, okay. I'll put it all in favour, say aye. Those against no, declare it carried with the amendments. Yep. Michael, we're dealing with planning. Okay, councillors, we've got an amendment to the volunteer planning agreement at Pagewood Green, 128 Bunningham Road and 120 Banks Avenue, Pagewood. Do I have someone moved by councillor Souness? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hannah. Those in favour, please raise your right hand. Get division, we have to do a division. Just going to get it up. Ed, you can't. Councillor Curry, Councillor Morrissey, Councillor Muscat, Councillor Fardell, Councillor Jansen, Councillor Souness, Councillor Werner, Stone, Councillor Barlow, Councillor Hannah, Councillor Douglas, Stone, Councillor Sedgwick, and I'm for. I'll declare it carried. Thank you. We can ask the councillors to come back in. Councillors, before I declare the meeting closed, I forgot to acknowledge one person, and I want to acknowledge everyone in the gallery, but I particularly want to acknowledge, I didn't see him because he's sitting in the back, and that's Mr. Bill Mugios. who runs the 5 or 6 businesses in Brighton. And the last 12 months, hand on heart, I've been to his coffee shop every night with Danny. Bill and I have on this crusade to save this 19-year-old boy that's tried to commit suicide almost every night. And I've reached out to the police. I've reached out to the local members. It's a very sad situation in terms of mental health. I personally have saved him maybe 5 times. Bill has saved him probably more than 20 or 30 times. And it's something that I'm going to be, while I'm in retirement, spend a lot of time and give my time for free in terms of the issue of mental health. So, Bill, thank you for coming, and thank you, Peter, who drove him here. And before I declare the meeting closed, I just wanted to also say I want to thank those on Facebook that have got the fake accounts. Thank you for the tremendous comments you've made. And I've always said my phone is here. If you have an issue with me, a personal issue, call me. So I'm thick-skinned. All those fake accounts, some have been set up by some councillors, all these fake accounts. Thank you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's why I never respond back. I need to say that because I have feelings, I have a family. And nobody has the decency to ring me up and tell me to my face, but they hide under fake accounts. And a lot of times, the ones that are not fake accounts, it's not factual. Not one person has rung me. I have friends and they said, Bill, should we respond? I go, no, do not. So I'm going to miss that because once a week I get together, cup of tea, and I go through it and I laugh at the non-factual comments that have been put on there. I don't really care. It's what the damage they do to my family and my friends that stood by me for all this time. So all those fake accounts, thank you. I will miss you. And I declare the meeting closed at 8 o'clock.